And we are back. Hope you enjoyed that break that we've had there to resolve some of our difficulties. And the age-old advice adage still works. If your internet is dropping, just drop it and then pick it back up.
Just don't try to catch it while it's dropping.
Yeah.
Just let it fall. Just let it fall.
Pick it back up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to be continuing here. We did have confirmation. We were able to kind of conclude our last series. Unfortunately, it wasn't live, but we recorded it.
Yeah.
We'll release it in the VOD.
Yeah.
Is what we shall do. But anyway, we're going to continue on, and with our first semifinals of the evening. And it's going to be a cheeky little PVZ where we're here in the top left-hand corner map, swatting all the way in the top left. We, of course, have our blue Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. He is currently teamless, but based on his avatar or profile picture, apparently representing Maru, he is Rogue.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player representing Club NV. Just took down Rex in a very close series. Again, we apologize for the stream going down earlier, but everything should be smooth sailings from here on forward. It is Creator.
Just like butter.
Yeah. On toast.
Or margarine, if you prefer. Which, if you do, then you don't.
What?
It's not real butter.
If you do, you don't. It is. What is butter? What is butter?
Butter.
Butter?
It's like butter.
Yeah.
It's like milk. That you shake.
Yeah. And bake.
Until it becomes yellow. And solid.
There you go.
And you can put salt in it.
Can.
And then the liquid that you have remaining, you can use for pancakes. It's called buttermilk. Is the,
oh, that's
the
buttermilk pancakes. Oh, is that how that works?
I think so. I mean, buttermilk is just like the excess milk, right? When you make butter. It's not butter mixed with milk.
Right.
That's a different drink.
What about I was about to say what about like buttermilk drinks though? Like
I mean, that's just butter mixed with milk. Okay, but I think it's important to point out butter coffee is not butter with coffee.
It isn't?
It's coffee beans that were roasted with butter.
Ah, there you go. There you go.
Butter.
As we learn about how butter is made, we are going to be opening up with an aggressive opener. We have Creator going for a Twilight Council. Now, we apologize again for not being able to, or for the stream being a little bit unstable when it comes to covering Rex, but we saw this a little bit earlier on this map even. Wait, was it this map or was it the other map?
No, that was Oceanborn.
Oceanborn. On Oceanborn, we saw a DT opener from Creator into an Archon drop, and there it is! It's the same build.
Coming in once again, it was pretty successful, all things considered in the end there for Creator. It did rely a lot on the fact that Rex was going all in multiple times against him, and Creator just barely being able to eke out enough Immortals, enough Stalkers, enough Archons at one point as well, to be able to defend and just deflect those all in. So we'll have to keep our eyes peeled and see how it works this time against Rogue, who, at least in game number 1, I can't imagine is going to be as aggressive.
Yeah, and we weren't able to cover Rogue's previous series as we're rushing into a very fast Roach One. That was a 4-minute Roach One here out of Rogue. But we weren't able to cover a series versus Stats. I believe that was covered by Wardy and by Biomorph. We were busy covering other matches, and yeah, I'm curious how this all does piece together here as the Roach One is on the way. And with that, we're going to have access to faster Roaches. Lings are amassing as well.
So maybe he is playing to be aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, a 4-minute Roach One is solid against something like a Glaive Adept opener, so you could just be reading this as Glaive Adepts, or even, again, Twilight Council opener, which it is going to be. The Prism has been scouted, Rogue is getting ready, the DTs are soon going to be upon us, and do we have detection? We do have Spores on the way at the natural and at the third.
Just like so.
Nope.
Prism get a C-Shop directly on top of these queens, but the DTs will finish regardless. Spores are about done-ish. Like the positioning of these ZTs, just yeah, they know they can't really go in behind any mineral lines, so just gonna be keeping Rogue on his toes for a little while before morphing into Archons.
Yeah, there was an opportunity to maybe dip into the main as the support in the main base wasn't quite done, but we didn't take that chance, didn't take that risk. We instead head on forward here. We shut down an Overlord at least, and we do at least threaten Rogue on this 3-base setup. We do see more roaches on the way, but we have to be careful here, respecting those queens. For now, just working with our shields, and we shouldn't be losing anything here. Yeah, so far, good control from Creator.
Yeah, nicely done. Not good losing anything. Hasn't dealt any major damage so far, but hasn't lost anything either, so still a chance. This opening has not been deflected yet, has not fallen on its face.
Yeah, as we do manage to catch a queen. Good pick up there from Creator. We start to step over towards the right hand side. Can we get another queen? It's going to be close here. Ooh, we do not. The queen does survive, and the prism is forced out. Throughout all of this, behind this, Creator is building up an immortal and charged lot composition.
Yeah, and this was kind of what we were waiting to see from Creator in his series versus Rex. Didn't quite get to show it off, but this is kind of what he's been known for a little. What he's developed a bit of a reputation for in these past couple of years. Just really strong, kind of off-key, but strong nonetheless. Charged Archon timings.
Oh, exactly, and there it is. Charge is about to finish up. The Immortals are building up as well. I'm curious if we are planning to hit that timing, if we do move out, or if we just chill back at home and take a slower approach instead. I feel like a lot of it's also going to depend on Rogue and what he's up to, because Rogue is going for Aspire.
Yeah, interesting choice coming out from Rogue, especially now that he has scouted these Archons. Mutas, of course, can still get a lot done, especially if you avoid the main army and just get into the mineral lines, but there's also a possibility that Rogue decides to rush into Brood Lords, which we've seen a couple of Zerg players do in ZvP, and we've seen it work out pretty well. But that was mostly when they were facing players who were kind of known for trying to get into earlier fleet beacons.
Yeah, and Creator isn't really that kind of player. Like, when I think of fast fleet beacon and Stargate play, we've seen Hero dabble in that, we've seen Classic embrace that. Quickly checking the vision though, Creator, he did scout the spy with the hallucination. Big moment here from Creator. He's going to be pulling all the way back and setting up with a more static defense, more shield batteries in the main base and the natural.
Yeah, he knows that that's going to be the prime targets now for all these Mutalisks. He's going to hang back and try to defend against that. This does mean that he's giving up map control to Rogue, which is pretty scary to consider right now, as Rogue is free to expand, is free to just drone up and do whatever. He's not doing either of them yet, focusing more on his army production. Yeah. But I think once he scouts the main army back at home, he will recognize that, you know, he's just free to do whatever.
Exactly, as the Mutas, they do dip between the bases, but they have been revealed, and I mean, we scouted them earlier. They head towards that third base. Archons are keeping up, Stalkers are keeping up as well. We do catch a couple of probes though. Oh, barely not.
I'm surprised at the lack of cannons here for Creator.
Yeah, he's cutting corners.
Yeah, cutting corners, relying entirely on his Archons. He desperately wants to get to the next phase of the game, which involves... Actually, no, he skipped the Forge entirely. That's why he doesn't have cannons.
Yeah, there was no Forge. And when we're committing anyway, I mean, Creator, he does have quite a hefty army to work with. Mutas, they go for the run by into the main base. They get a couple of probes here and there, but here we go. We are pushing out Creator with a death bull of an army. He wants to end the game here and now with this push.
Yeah, I think he's recognized that committing to these Mutalisks does mean that Rogue will have a little bit of a weakened ground army. Still a massive roach count that he has to be very worried about. He has to, you know, make sure that his force fields are on point, but I think he has recognized that all Rogue has is all he's got. There is no secret second army behind all of this.
I mean, the problem as well is you said, look at all those roaches. I mean, true, but look at all these immortals. That's what, 6 immortals with the main army? That is insane. Lings, they do bust through across the map and they cause a bit of chaos, a bit of havoc. Creator does get a kill in the base, and he's maybe taking a little bit too long. A lot of Banelings just morphed in. They're not ideal against this army, but they do help against the Zealots. They do help support the army of Rogue. Creator just biding his time, still busy dealing with those mutas. The mutas to get even more damage done.
Yeah, 2 entire mineral lines. 1 entire mineral line has gone down. 2 of them have been attacked, is what I was trying to get at, as 19 probes have fallen so far throughout this game. Creator very much on the back foot economically. I mean, there's no way he can keep this going, so I'm surprised at how hesitant he's been trying to push this, trying to push into Rogue.
Yeah, now Rogue has maxed out with Banelings, with Roaches, with Ravagers. Extra Ravagers were morphed in as well. Before this, he had like 2 Ravagers, so this is a risky maneuver. Creator, meanwhile, also maxing, but he does have some reinforcements still moving out across the map. He still needs a little bit more time to reinforce.
Yeah, he still needs a little bit more of that time, as the force fields will not quite pop off. A couple of vials will land. Oh, on top of these sentries. It's a hefty losses right now. It's such a key unit that Creator needs to utilize as this keeps going. Because Creator has given Rogue time, Baneling speed has finished up. His upgrades has finished up, and yeah, this was not the play here for Creator to try to hope that Rogue pushes into him instead of other way around.
Yeah, and now he's going to try to collapse on this. I mean, the force field doesn't quite catch too much. We do see Ling Bane rolling in on the right-hand side. One Immortal is going to be going down. The Archons, they try to hold their own, but where are the rest of the Immortals? They're here towards the south instead.
Yeah, but here come the reinforcements from Creator. And this is a hefty, beefy Protoss army that's pushing the Roach forces back.
Yeah, we're down to how many Immortals? We're down to 5 Immortals, 2 here on the right-hand side. On the southern side, they're going to be forced back. They're looking quite vulnerable. Mutas, they're coming from behind. They're going for the Immortals.
Yeah, not enough anti-air to really deal with this. Clutch pick up on one of these Immortals. We'll be able to keep it alive. Creator juggling his heart out. Stalkers attacking the Mutalisk from below, and it is helping out, but enough time has passed. Rogue has more than enough reinforcements to deal with this.
Yeah, he cleans up the army. GG gets called, and Rogue will take game number 1. He survives the push, cripple the economy across the map, and it did just take a little bit too long for Creator to pull the trigger there. He gave Rogue a lot of time.
Yeah, way too cautious. He was playing way too cautious early on. Or not early on, but when he did push in, is what I'm trying to say. There was a window of opportunity there. There was a window where he had the better army, he had the better upgrades, but like you said, just took him too long to pull the trigger, did not recognize the situation that he was in. And with that, Rogue was able to buy himself enough time, he was able to survive, and we're getting game number 2 with Rogue being up 1 in this best of 3.
We are getting into that next game. Oh boy, Rogue 1 game away from advancing on into the grand finals as we're nearing the end of the broadcast. And do we have an opponent ready and waiting? Not yet. We just got an update. Looks like Hero took down Nightmare, took down Solar. Hero's up against Shin in the lower semifinals.
There we go. Potentially we have a PvZ or a PvP or a ZvZ in those grand finals, but that's what we're here to determine. As we continue our series, our semifinals, spawning in onto Oceanborn, where we're here in the top left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top left, we have our blue Protoss player coming out from the land of Korea. He, of course, is going to be representing Team Envy, Club Envy, and all of the waifus. We have Creator.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player representing himself, currently teamless, returning from the military and leading the series 1-0. It is Rogue.
Got that buzz cut going.
Yeah, he's
post-military hairstyle.
He does.
That's how recent he's come back.
Trying to regrow it as quickly as possible, as quick as he can.
It's a source of his powers, as we all know.
I mean, I'm sure he's still a sexy boy even without his hair. I'm sure. We'll just add that little spice on top.
Lost his hair, but you know, gained some muscle.
There you go. Ah, even sexier boy.
Oh.
I'm still waiting for Zest to come back. Yo, look, mate. Look what happened to Impact, right? Look what happened to Impact after military. I want to believe that Zest is going to come out just as jacked. He's going.
Well, there's potential there that
Uh-huh.
Zest, who, was already kind of a bodybuilder-ish,
Yeah.
before going into the military, will come out even more jacked than Impact.
Uh-huh.
There's also the potential that he goes the exact opposite direction.
Oh. What does that
The
mean?
military steals his muscles.
It takes it away. Oh my god. No shot. No shot. Uh,
We'll see, it depends. There was a reason why it took him a while to get in. It was apparently he had like a spinal issue.
Yeah.
So the military might keep that in mind, might decide to, alternate when it comes to physicals. I don't know how the Korean army does it. If I'm being honest, I'm just going off of what was briefed to me by the Singapore army before they told me that, I was no use to them.
Smooch. I'm sure it's okay. We'll see. We'll find out. For now, though, we're going to be setting into our setup here. Rogue just going for Hatchgas. We'll enjoy third base. Stay that open out of our Zerg player. Meanwhile, Creator this time will not go for a Twilight Council. We have a Stargate instead.
Yeah, much more standard coming out from Creator this time. And I don't think the opening was really the issue for Creator. It was more of when we got to the mid-game. He lacked that killer instinct, but, I guess in game number 2, we also have to recognize that Rogue is going to be more prepared for an Archon opening, is going to be a little bit more, he doesn't want Rogue to get too used to how Creator plays, so I can't say I blame him too much for deciding to go for something a bit more standard in game number 2.
Yeah, I don't blame Creator, and I want to echo that as well. The early game was pretty good for Creator. Like, he was able to stabilize, able to get into his own opener, didn't lose any of his Archons either, picked up some Queens, but now we're going to have to try and take a different pace this time instead, as the initial Adept Oracle is moving out, and we'll see how much damage Creator can get done. We'll see if Rogue can minimize his losses.
Indeed, we shall. The Adepts, good target firing, going to be able to take out a handful of drones. Oracle a little bit too idle on the outskirts of the base, so we'll be taking a little bit of hull damage. As these Adepts getting a lot done.
Yeah, they shade into the main base. 6 drones are going to be going down. We do quite well so far. 7 drones go down in total. And now we're going to be settling into our mid-game here. Creator with a nice lead. The Oracles are still amassing. We still have a third Oracle on the way. The aggression, the harassment has not ended.
It really has not. It's just taken a bit of a different form. Stalkers aren't blink yet, so really good surrounds here from Rogue. And these Oracles are across the map, not quite back at home. Third Oracle does pop out, and that's going to be enough of a deterrent here for Rogue.
Yeah, exactly. As the Lings, they just keep being active. At the same time we get across the map, drones are going to be going down. We had no Spore at the natural.
And just like that, Rogue will be taking a lot of damage on his mineral line. Creator will be taking a little bit of damage as well. That was a kill and not a cancel on the shield battery on the other side of the map. But he hasn't lost any workers, which I think is his major advantage right now.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the Unisol stat, that's 15 drones going down. That's basically an entire mineral line worth of workers falling already. That is an insane amount of damage dealt here. That is a bit too much.
Yeah, that's game. You're getting ready for game number 3 going in here now. We'll see. I mean, we were talking earlier about Zerg players who do well on low econ and how it's tough to do that in a mirror matchup. Well, this is a mirror matchup. So there's definitely comeback potential here for Rogue.
Speaking of comeback, we do manage to get a couple of workers here. 3 probes going to be going down. At the same time, the Oracle's still being active across the map, still threatening the bases here of Rogue. As a Creator, going to be moving out with a set of devs behind this +1 and Blinker on the horizon here. So working towards a standard Blink transition. But Creator has done quite well for himself here when it comes to at least crippling or keeping the economy in check of Rogue.
Yeah, it's going to try to continue to keep it down, as Rogue spending a lot of larva to catch back up economically, and so far he has been able to get away with it. Creator, after getting his third base, is checking up, is getting Blink, is getting +1, so yeah, it looks like similar to game number 1, he does want to go for strong, immortal Stalker timing.
Yeah, we're headed in that direction at least, as Creator is getting a 4th base, so he's not going for any kind of weird 3-base all-in. Like, Creator, he's working towards the mid-game here. Likewise, Rogue is taking up as well. We have a Hydra Den on the way, so looking to be Hydras into, I imagine, Lurkers if the game goes on long enough. So, likewise, Rogue is taking a different approach. This time, no Mutas.
No Mutas. It's going to be going underground instead of in the air. And we were talking about how Hydra Roach is a pretty strong mid-game army composition here for ZvP, but the problem is getting there in the first place.
Yeah,
and we saw in, I believe, game number 1, Creator versus Rex. That was what Rex was trying to do, but Creator recognized the situation and was just able to hit before Rex hit his final form, prevent Rex from hitting that final form in the first place. Rogue, on the other hand, has been left alone a little while longer. Might be able to get there.
Yeah, I mean, he is recovering, he is re-droning. As I say that, we do pick up a couple of workers in the main base once again. Lurker Den is on the horizon. We dive into the main. The Queens are out of position, and we get 9 more drones. We're going to bleed out all these oracles, and we commit even more. 12 workers go down.
Very worthwhile damage here for Creator. Once again, just keeping Rogue down, and Rogue is getting into his next phase of the game. He is getting Hive, he is getting Lurker Den. This is a terrible time to be taking this much damage.
I mean, at this stage, the soup doesn't lie right now. Because of all the economic damage, Creator has a massive army supply lead. The Oracle barely escapes with 1 HP, still here in the corner of the map, getting 2 more drone kills. But here comes the main force. Rogue, he needs time. He needs time to recover. He needs time to build up that Lurker count. We have 5 Lurkers on the way. Stalkers are going to be rocking up. This shouldn't be enough to break Rogue here and now, but we're trading with the army and we're clearing up creep.
Indeed, we are. Whilst we can, Lurkers are out. They are vanilla Lurkers, and I mean, one of them even going to get taken out before it burrows.
Yeah, we snipe a Lurker. The Colossus has arrived. The rest of the main army is rallying across the map. Here comes that War Prism. When the Prism arrives, then we can commit. Then we can just double down. We can reinforce. We can commit to a push. And it's going to be a tough hold here for Rogue. I mean, he is prioritizing Lurkers, and he does need these Lurkers to somehow pull off a defense.
Yeah, somehow. But if he's able to pull it off, he's going to be able to hit his final form, and Creator's not quite ready to deal with that just yet. I mean, he is getting his Fleet Beacon, which I definitely appreciate, but that's going to take a lot of time before that happens.
Yeah, Creator thinking further ahead, getting ready for Skytools. I don't think Creator needs to think that far ahead. I think we could probably just double down and push, but we can see Creator is expanding, taking another base, taking up as well, and Creator, I assumed that he was going to be reinforcing with that Prism, but the Prism is actually staying back at home, so looks like Creator, he's content just taking his lead and extending it.
Yeah.
Are we being too passive?
Just gonna... Well, that was the problem in game number 1 here, but here in game number 2, maybe not. Maybe it is the right play, as Creator is still expanding, like you mentioned, and you know, he is teching up. He is planning. He is thinking about the late game, so it might be the right call.
Yeah, I mean, there's a nice contamination. We do delay +2. We're working towards Storm as well behind this for Creator. Like, again, Creator's still in a good position, but again, he's giving Rogue the opportunity to come back into this. As the Lurker count is getting higher and higher, Nidus Worm is on the way to be able to counterattack across the map, and the Vipers have arrived. So now we have an answer to the Colossus. Now, if Creator did want to push in, we've missed our timing. Rogue has what he needs to defend.
Yeah, he really does.
Oh!
Or does he, as Creator does fight a little bit of a kink in the armor and is able to take out a couple of Lurkers for not that much damage.
Yeah, pretty good pickups here from a Creator to snipe 2 Lurkers. Additional Lurkers on the way. We have the Mothership in production. We have Prison Speed. We snipe a Queen. These are some nice pickups here from a Creator. I'm still a little bit uneasy just because, again, Creator is taking more than anything, but we'll see if again, he gets away with it. Madison in the main.
And it's in the main. But it does get scouted, and is this going to be enough to take it out? Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, it looks like it's barely going to be going down at the same time. The Roach Hydra army pushing through the center. Not quite committing yet here, as it looks like Creator, he's in position. He has Storms as well.
Yeah, just waiting to Just like that, utilize him. Rogue, well aware that he needs to fight back. That's why he's committing so hard to prevent Creator from reaching this final form of Sky Toss.
Yes, here we go. We get a big nice feedback on the Viper Storm as well on the Hydras.
At that point, it's basically an EMP, right? Yeah. with that many feedbacks in quick succession. That was nicely done.
Very nicely done. The Lurkers are slowly trying to gain some ground here. The Sky Toss transition has not begun. We have +1 air attack on the way, but I believe we don't have any Stargates. Or we have one, but we don't have a setup of Stargates to actually get into this. Nidus Worm going to be going down. It looks like Creator wants to try to surround and collapse on this army.
Kind of, as the rest of his army is just going for the push.
We're going for the base trade.
Yeah, going for the base trade. Or I should say, giving Rogue the opportunity to base trade.
Yeah, here we go. We have the cloak on the mothership. Third base is going to be going down at the same time. Creator pushing in, and there are no lurkers back at home to defend. There's almost nothing at home to defend.
No, there isn't. This Viper is so exposed, and it will get taken out by the Stalkers. I don't believe Rogue has any anti-air on the other side of the map.
He doesn't. It looks like the Hydras are going to be racing back home. A couple of lurkers are racing back home as well. And do we have detection? We do. We have plenty of observers here. Rogue, can we defend? Can we push up this ramp?
Not by the looks of things. He's going to try, but these Colossus will outrange Vanilla. Vanilla? Yeah, Vanilla. Kind of Vanilla. Kind of Vanilla lurkers.
Yeah, but we got to surround it. Looks like we cleaned up the Immortals. Rogue barely holding on, but here comes an additional wave of Immortals to reinforce. GG gets called Creator. He has just too much, and Creator takes game number 2, tying up the series 1-1.
GG. Creator just kind of tightening things up for after game number 1. I mean, he had a completely different opening, but even still, the control on his Adepts and his Oracles in the early game going into a mid-game where he was much better situated to just think ahead and get into that final form instead of trying to go for a timing, but also not fully committing to the timing, which was kind of his issue in game number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, from Creator.
It definitely left me uneasy. Not gonna lie. Like, I was the entire time I was like, "Yo, are we being too passive? Are we giving Rogue too much of an opportunity to bounce back into this?" I mean, in the end, we were able to, or Creator was able to close it out, but it did cause a base trade. It was still a very close end of the game.
Yeah, that was definitely a decision from Creator to go for the base trade instead of, taking out the army when he kind of had Rogue trapped, but in the end it did work out for him, so yeah, I can't blame him too much for that. As he did recognize that Rogue didn't have that many Hydras on his side of the map, so he was investing into a fleet beacon anyway, he was getting his mothership anyway, so yeah, he would have been able to defend regardless.
For sure.
I guess was the rationale.
Just saw in the chat. Imagine Yaku walking up to a lurker and licking it a few times to exclaim the vanilla lurkers.
That's yeah. The mouthfeel and the flavor.
Oh no. Ask a question. What other flavor lurkers are there? I mean, vanilla.
Oh, there's got to be citrus.
Sour lurkers?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Like they have baling acid sprinkled on top.
I would say there's got to be spicy lurkers, right?
Oh, yeah, spicy sour.
Oh god.
Like how you can have mango chili margaritas.
True. There you go.
Yeah. Or it's like when you have just like the chili powder on top of the fruit. So that's like baling acid is like the sauce. Is what I'm trying to get at.
The sauce?
On top of the lurkers. The sauce.
There's gonna be salty lurkers, right? There's gonna be like soy sauce flavored lurkers, like.
Ooh, stir fry.
Yeah.
But then you just chew it, like.
You can suck on some stir fry.
You can. It's gotta be like frozen stir fry popsicles. Anyway, here we are in our ace match of the semifinals. Here, we're going to be figuring out who advances to those grand finals. And we're continuing on with our PvZ, Hunt-Site Delta. Here in the top left-hand corner map, we have our blue Rotos player coming out from the land of Korea. He's going to be representing Team Envy. we have Creator.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player representing himself, currently teamless, returning from the military, being forced into the ace match. Can we bounce back? It is Rogue.
Lurkers are probably very earthy, now that I think about it.
Earthy?
Yeah, kind of earthy.
Like badgers. You know, like burrow.
Yeah, like mushrooms.
Like platypus.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make burrows.
They make, they burro.
Yeah. Burrito.
Under the ground.
That's
Burrito.
God, I'm just hungry. I just want to eat some stir-fry ice cream burritos.
Ooh. Have you ever had fried ice cream?
I think I have. I think so. Yeah. That's like a common like Southeast Asian thing, right? Like.
Yeah, it's like street food here.
Yeah, street food. Yeah.
Mm.
It's basically you get ice cream, but you like coat it. You coat it in batter and you fry that. Right?
Yeah, you batter it and then you deep fry it.
Yeah.
You think it will melt, and sometimes it does. But when it doesn't,
yeah. There you go. Buttermilk.
Yeah.
Can you
shake it?
Yeah, can you batter it up with buttermilk? Like batter?
I mean, you can. Yeah, you probably could. Because like milk batter is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very common because I don't think it really makes that much of a difference.
It probably doesn't. Yeah,
I mean, water is just a lot cheaper, and you know, it doesn't make that much of a difference if you use milk.
Yeah.
But you probably could.
There you go. As we're just settling into our game here, Hashgas, we'll save that opener out of our Zerga player. Likewise, nothing too fancy from our Protoss, as it's going to be another Stargate opener. Rogue is making an extra wave of Lings, but I believe it's just for map control, just to make sure, yeah, we don't take too much from the Adepts. Rogue just taking it very seriously, trying to minimize his losses.
Yeah. Spoke about Creator, tightening things up after game number 1, and now it looks like Rogue is, you know, doing likewise. He's recognized that the damage he took from Creator was a little bit too much in the early game. I mean, you called it. 15 drones going down. I mean, that was game end there. It just kept going.
That was you. That was you calling that. You're like, that's game.
Was it?
That was you.
Was it though? Was it me? I seem to recall those words being said.
Yeah. Shading is the main. And I'm saying Shading is the main, but I'm saying can one-shot drones. Drones are going to be targeted down. We get 1 so far. We get 2. We're going to get a 3rd. Can we get 4? Up.
Indeed, we can. Lings, unfortunately, not quite in position to deal with this, but thankfully we do have these 2 queens, and they were able to get quite a lot of damage. Massive stasis ward in the 3rd base. I say 3rd base, it was actually a unnatural natural.
Yeah.
And on top of that, a little bit of damage, a little bit of drone damage as well. Creator, despite Rogue being a lot quicker on the defense this time, is still able to get a lot of damage done.
Yeah.
That Oracle only took cold damage, and we also have a 2nd Oracle back home for defense.
Exactly. Lings, they try to counterattack.
Very clean early game.
Yeah, they hit the 3rd base. We defend the 3rd as well. The Lings, they do nothing. And now we're up to 2 Oracles. Sorry, we're soon to be up to 3 Oracles here to harass across the map, and we'll see if Rogue can minimize his losses. It's been a rough start for him. We saw how things can become dire in game number 2. And Creator, he's looking to replicate that. He's looking to do it once again.
Yeah. I mean, as you pointed out, taking 15 drones, losing 15 drones that early is basically game.
Mm-hmm. I didn't say that. What are you shaking my head. As your
lighting isn't working.
That's the Oracles they did into the main. Ooh, 1 Oracle does go down, so a much cleaner defense here out of Rogue, as this time he was in position with those 2 queens. It will minimize his losses. But again, this is kind of the first step here on that road to recovery for Rogue back at home. That's a lot of Adepts, and they are vanilla Adepts. Tasted them.
They are vanilla adepts. Twilight Council now getting thrown out, but we do have a Warp Prism, so regardless, creators being pretty committed. Just as I'm committed to the gaslighting of light.
There we go. As I say, get across the map. Queen is going to be pushing forward, but Elastic Queen's out of position. The drones are exposed.
Yeah, a couple of them going to be going down. Oracle's trying to throw down some stasis wards, but they will not complete. Creator will lose those stasis, will lose those oracles, will not be able to get those stasis wards, and he's going to have a difficult time getting out of here, retreating with all of his adepts.
Yeah, he's going to have a hard time, but he does not shade in. Yeah, he pulls back. In the end, we have a Prism behind this to reinforce. Charges on the way, Archon production, Immortals on the horizon. As Creator is not all in, he's saturating his third base. He's just getting economic damage done and getting ahead, or taking a lead.
Like so. Creator not going to be... Rogue, sorry, not going to be taking this lying down, though, as despite his losses, he has been able to almost reset the Oracle count earlier on. He knows that he has a very flexible, elastic defense with these Queens and these Lings, so he is still going to be teching up. He is about to finish up the Infestation Pit.
And the pit is on the way. Oracle taking a lot of hits here at the natural. At the same time, Prism tried to go for the main, but Rogue was ready. He was in position. This time he does deflect the Prism. Rogue is holding on to his 3, soon-to-be 4 base setup. But back at home, Creator, he's not content with just the Gateway Army. We have Storm just now starting.
Yeah. Creator still needs time to hit his final form. And Rogue is willing to give him that time, but obviously preparation goes both ways. You know, Rogue in all this time, Hive is about to finish up, or Hive is on the way, Lurker Den is on the way, and I think we should be seeing a much crisper transition to Lurkers compared to what we saw in Oceanborn.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, similarly, Rogue is taking up into Hydro Lurker Viper, but as you mentioned, this time he has taken less damage. 14 drones have gone down. At this point, in the previous game, would have lost over, I think it was around 25 drones had fallen at already. Yeah. So, Rogue is in a slightly better position, still taking a lot of damage. He's going for the High Templar!
Forced to morph in an Archon, and he will be losing the Archon regardless. Whew. Nice pick off here from Rogue.
Very nicely done, as we do open an extra wave of High Templar behind this. We still have Storms available here. Storm is now done for Creator, but he's going to be stuck at home, still building up his forces. And does Rogue have enough time to get into his Lurkers?
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to call it now. He's going to get the Lurkers out. I'm not going to call whether it's game or not. It's more of a, that's more of a you thing.
You're an animal, Papi. You're an animal. Shake your head. That's we're settling into our fourth. We are going into interesting double Immortal production. Okay, so a very heavy Immortal count here from a Creator. Storm on the way as well. We do have our Stasis. We do catch some Lings. Rogue won't be able to break or really do much economic damage yet here, as we even get some more Adepts into the natural.
Yeah, Vanilla Adepts still getting a lot done for drones, which at this stage of the game is not exactly, I mean, it's not game ending, but it's not exactly negligible either.
Yeah, exactly. And because of that, both players are soon to max. And you may be thinking like, oh, I mean, wouldn't that make things even? Well, typically the Zerg players should be the first to max out. They should be the first to reach that critical mass, to harass across the map, to have the better economy, to replace what they lose. That is not going to be the case here, though, as Creator is just barely behind him when it comes to that 200 supply.
Yeah, Rogue technically is going to be the first player to max out, but like you said, it's not a big enough head start for Rogue to really, for him to really start leveraging that endgame economy. I'm very impressed with what Creator's been able to pull off with just a handful of gateway units here and there. This wasn't a mass warp-in by any means. Okay, this was a little bit of a larger warp-in to the main, but with 2 Adepts, 2 Zealots, 2 just handfuls of handfuls of gateway units here and there. He's been able to really pull off a massive harass. The Warp Prism will fall, but not before another Warping of Zealots completes.
Yeah, we get in once again into the main base. It should be cleaned up, but 19 drones go down. That was an insane amount of economic damage. Rogue has remaxed, but Rogue has not replaced those drones. We're going to be maxing out on Roach Hydra. Do we have any lurkers? We have 10. That's a decent lurker count, to be fair, and the hive upgrades are finishing up. So Rogue does have an army, but Rogue does not have the economy to replace this. He has to be very careful with how he engages, has to be as efficient as possible.
Yeah, so make sure he has his detection, as Mothership is about a quarter of the way done. Unfortunately, little body blocking, really good stasis traps set up here from Creator.
Yeah, we do see the storms from behind as well. Oh my god, we blanket the Hydras. Massive storms here on the army, and Rogue, his army is battered and bruised. We have to keep pushing.
Yeah, just blanketed the entire area, blanketed the retreat as well here, so pretty much every single Hydra was taking storm damage. Rogue forced to burrow in a bit of an inopportune position.
And we still have more storms. We still have more storms available. We're diving on in towards that natural base. We can collapse on this from multiple angles. The surround!
Yeah, huge surround. High Templar are about to be taken out, though! And that's an unfortunate loss for Creator, but Rogue is still bleeding out way more units.
That pit of blood used to be an army. That there was once an army here, and you can see Rogue
was the army.
Rogue, he plummets in supplies down to 140 supply here. Zealot harass once again across the map. We even get, okay, I thought it was a prism coming in, no, but Zealots at the southern base. 9 more drones fall, and Creator, he holds.
He does, in fact, hold. He's getting onto his 5 base economy, and he's started carrier production already. Creator is not too far away from hitting his final form. Rogue, I mean, kind of hit his final form a while ago, but that wasn't enough to break Creator. Now he has to not only rebuild all of those units, he also has to bank up enough resources to be able to remax, as it feels like it's inevitable that Rogue's gonna bleed out units. I mean, that's what Zerg is supposed to do at this stage of the game. Zerg is supposed to bleed out units and then quickly remax and just keep pummeling your Protoss opponent, but unfortunately for Rogue, he doesn't have the economic setup to get to that point.
He's just now droning up, just now getting up to a decent economy, and you can see here that he's just struggling to max out. He's still stuck at 170. Supply is down in said army supply, and Creator, what's terrifying is it's replacing his army with Skytoss. It's no longer just about the ground army, but carriers have been amassing. We have our first carrier already out. Second is on the horizon as well, as unfortunately we only have 1 Stargate, so we don't have the production for it, but it's coming.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, because I was looking just 1 carrier producer at a time. That can't be right. Well, it was. It is right when you only have 1 Stargate to work off of. Once again, beautiful storms, blanketing just about the entire Zerg army. Revelation gonna reveal just about every lurker as well, almost every lurker.
Yeah, we just see Creator trying to outmaneuver his opponent with a very small army. This is interesting. We do have some storms available, but we have to be careful here, as, the cloak is going to be activated at the same time, though we do manage to slip in DTs. They get 16 drones.
That's game-ending damage. I'm calling it here. As more storms do get on top of the Zerg army, the Zealots continuing to pick Rogue apart. Creator is well aware that Rogue doesn't have a mobile army to work off of. He has a small army, and it's an army that cannot move quickly between these bases.
It really cannot, as we bleed out 2 hatcheries, the one on the left, the one on the right. We have DTs in the mineral lines. 22 drones go down. Rogue does have a massive amount of lurkers. He has 15 lurkers, but only 8 Hydras. The anti-air is a little bit lackluster here for Rogue.
The anti-air is a little bit lackluster, but so is the air, in all fairness.
Yeah, exactly.
If Rogue can, I was gonna say, if Rogue can somehow take out this ground army with his lurkers and then mass up on Hydras, and there is a path, but I just glanced at the resource bank slide, and it's not looking good for Rogue.
I mean, we'll see if we can make something happen here. Storm does graze the army, pushing forward. We take a stasis to the face, slowing down the force, but it looks like we will get on top of this Nexus. The base may be going down, trying to remax on carrier, but alas, Creator, he has no supply. He's maxed out. He can't make any more carriers.
I'm getting deja vu from game number 1 here, Light.
Yeah, we're base trading.
We got base trading, and Creator knows that he has the better end of this base trade. Not only does he have recall available if he so needs to, but I mean, you were mentioning he's remaxing on carriers, and there's barely any anti-air back home here for, or on the other side of the map there for Rogue.
Yeah, a lot of high tempo just went down. They did end up going a little bit too close to lurkers, but GG gets called as we snowball out of control, and Creator will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals.
Wow. That was, yeah. I'm honestly pretty impressed with how Creator played out this series. Specifically because game number 1 worried me quite a bit here for Creator.
Oh yeah, game 1 was a little bit worrisome, but Creator, he really did find his stride here in game number 3, where he was able to have that amazing economic damage, or that amazing harassment, followed up, of course, this time with teching up, with getting ahead, and just non-stop aggression here, not just with the Adept Oracle harass at the beginning of the game, but also with the Zealot drops, Zealot run by his DT counterattacks as well. It was insane what Creator was able to accomplish.
Yeah, GG. Really good adaptations coming out from Creator here, as it seemed like after game number 1, he was very quick to recognize that, you know, timing attacks not quite gonna work out, or at least specifically that Archon Immortal composition that he went for probably wasn't gonna work out too well for him. I mean, obviously a big issue that he had in game number 1 specifically was it felt like he was playing overly cautious, but he also was playing cautiously because of his army composition, right? He didn't have a strong backline like he did in game number... He didn't have a strong backline of splash damage, specifically, I should clarify, like he did in game number 2 and game number 3 in the form of those storms. So it was, yeah, really important for Creator to recognize that, switch up his game plan a little bit, and of course, tighten up on his mechanics a little bit, his control, his early game. GG, very nicely done here for Creator, and it looks like he does have an opponent ready for him.
We have an opponent. It's going to be a PvP Grand Finals, as Hero took down Shin 2-1. It did go all the way to the ace match. Hero, fun fact, if you look at the bracket, Hero went to the ace match against Nightmare, against Solar, against Shin. It's been, I mean, actually looking at the bracket in general, there's been a lot of back and forth going on scattered throughout the entire tournament. It isn't just Hero. Creator as well did ace match his way all the way to the finals. Does that mean anything? Are we going to game 5?
I think we're going to game 5, but I'm worried that we'll get into game 5 sooner than we would like.
It's very possible.
ZvP.